The terrifying arms race that has China, Russia, and the USA in full panic mode. A new Cold War, only deadlier. The world is hurtling toward a moment no one truly wants, but everyone fears. Imagine a race not for gold or glory, but for the power to obliterate civilizations in minutes. Imagine weapons so fast, so unpredictable, and so destructive that entire defense systems become obsolete overnight. Imagine Beijing, Moscow, and Washington locked not in diplomacy, not in commerce, but in a relentless sprint to dominate arms technologies too frightening to even fully explain in public. This is not a movie. This is the reality of the new arms race. And unlike in the past, it's no longer just between two superpowers. Today, China, Russia, and the United States are all racing to build the most devastating weapons ever conceived, with little restraint, few treaties, and no clear rules of engagement. Every national leader knows this. The side with the most advanced arsenal controls the future. And that realization is driving the most terrifying arms race in modern history. The end of an era. Arms control collapses. For decades after World War II, treaties like the Anti-Ballistic Missile Treaty and New START kept nuclear arsenals capped and tested mechanisms for mutual restraint. But that framework is crumbling. The 2010 New START Treaty, the last major nuclear arms control agreement between the US and Russia, is set to expire in early 2026, and negotiations to renew or replace it have stalled. Neither side appears eager to reduce arsenals without China, which has largely stayed out of treaty talks, being included. This isn't just bureaucracy collapsing. It's the foundation of strategic stability cracking. Experts warn that a new nuclear arms race is already underway, one that is more dangerous and less predictable than the Cold Wars, because it now involves 3 nuclear superpowers instead of 2. With the end of arms control treaties, there's no agreed limit on warhead numbers, no inspections, no verification regimes, just unchecked competition to build bigger, faster, and more sophisticated arsenals. The spread of nuclear capabilities, China's rapid buildup. For decades after the Cold War, China maintained a relatively small nuclear arsenal compared to the US and Russia. That's changed dramatically. In its most recent assessments, the Pentagon notes that China has likely deployed over 100 intercontinental ballistic missiles in newly constructed silo fields, marking a rapid expansion of its nuclear strike force. China's nuclear arsenal has grown from a few hundred warheads to possibly over 600 today, with projections suggesting it could build closer parity with the United States and Russia by the end of this decade. Beijing's leaders insist their nuclear policy is defensive and restrained, but military analysts see the expansion as part of a broader strategy to assert power regionally, especially over Taiwan and globally. This shift has shaken Washington and Moscow alike, because China's growing nuclear and delivery capabilities mean it is no longer content to be a secondary player. It is vying for true strategic influence. Russia's strategy, modernization, and perspectives of deterrence. Russia, meanwhile, is modernizing its nuclear forces while deploying new weapons that it claims can evade defense systems. Recent satellite imagery suggests Russia is deploying nuclear-capable hypersonic missiles near Belarus, expanding its reach across Eastern Europe and altering Europe's security landscape. Russia's strategic modernization includes RS-28 Sarmat Satan II, heavy ICBM operational 2023, capable of carrying 10-15 MIRV warheads. These mobile intermediate-range systems would allow Russia to strike targets across vast distances quickly and with little warning. Moscow's approach to arms development reflects a belief that advanced weaponry isn't just a deterrent, it's a strategic shield against what it views as Western encirclement and threat. Adding a further layer of complexity, NATO intelligence warns Russia may be developing anti-satellite weapons designed to incapacitate systems like Starlink, a technology critical to modern battlefield communications, which has already played a key role in conflicts like Ukraine. This signals that Russia's ambitions go beyond Earth, stretching into space warfare, which could trigger cascading consequences for civilian satellites, global communications, and space stability. The United States, racing to catch up and get ahead. The US is not passive in this race. Washington is investing heavily in cutting-edge weapon systems, especially hypersonic strike weapons, as part of its effort to maintain strategic advantage over adversaries. Hypersonic weapons, capable of traveling at more than 5 times the speed of sound while maneuvering unpredictably, are central to the U.S. strategy alongside China and Russia. These weapons compress reaction times for enemies and are designed to evade traditional defense systems. The Pentagon, defense contractors, and congressional budget requests all reflect a new priority: integrate hypersonic weapons into combat units quickly and at scale. This push isn't just about offensive capability. It's about deterrence, the idea that only overwhelming lethality can stop opponents from taking aggressive action. Yet, recent reports suggest that the U.S. may be trailing its rivals in certain aspects of hypersonic technology, deepening concerns in Washington. Why this is more terrifying than the last arms race? These aren't relics of Cold War politics. This new arms race is different, shaped by technology that outpaces defense. Hypersonic missiles, for example, follow low, unpredictable flight paths and can evade current defense systems, leaving commanders with seconds, not minutes, to react. That means the offense now has the edge over defense, a terrifying shift that destabilizes deterrence doctrines and increases the risk of miscalculation. No strong treaty framework. Unlike during the Cold War, when treaties like SALT and START helped contain the most dangerous capabilities, today there's no effective multilateral arms control regime. New START is expiring. Negotiations are stalled. China has never been a treaty party. And mistrust runs deep between all 3 powers. This absence of structure allows each nation to pursue ever more advanced systems without checks, making escalation much easier and less predictable. Triangular competition makes stability harder. In the bipolar Cold War, strategic balance existed because both sides could roughly predict the other's capabilities and intentions. A 3-way competition, US, Russia, and China, makes it far harder to maintain equilibrium, because each power must hedge against 2 potential adversaries, often in conflict with one another's interests. Example of triangular complexity. The US must deter China in the Pacific while maintaining NATO commitments against Russia in Europe. Russia must counter NATO expansion while watching China's rise. China must modernize against US threats while managing Russia as both partner and competitor. Each nation's security move threatens 2 others simultaneously. Analysts warn this kind of triangular race is more unstable than any 2-side contest, precisely because alliances, ambitions, and strategic calculations can shift unpredictably. Integration of emerging technologies. This new arms race isn't just about nukes and missiles anymore. It's about integrating AI, cyber, space warfare, and autonomous systems into national arsenals, turning kinetic competition into multi-domain technological rivalry that could redefine warfare itself. In such an environment, a single misinterpreted signal, a cyber breach, or a satellite loss could trigger responses that escalate far beyond original intentions. The strategic implications, and why leaders are panicking. Leaders in Beijing, Moscow, and Washington face a dilemma: advance weapons to deter adversaries or risk falling behind and becoming vulnerable. This is the classic security dilemma. Each state's efforts to feel safer actually make others feel more threatened, prompting further buildup. The result? An arms race that feeds on mistrust and fear. Without robust communication channels and agreements, the danger isn't just in weapons deployment. It's in crisis miscalculation. Imagine a hypersonic missile test misinterpreted as an attack, a satellite collision attributed to hostile action, a cyber attack on nuclear early warning systems, a miscommunication triggering preemptive moves. In all these scenarios, escalation could happen before anyone truly understands what's happening, and with arsenals far more destabilizing than in the past. That's the nightmare scenario global leaders fear, yet seem helpless to prevent. Can anything stop this race? Some diplomats and strategists argue that re-energizing arms control dialogues, perhaps expanding treaties to include China, could rein in this spiral. Others argue for confidence-building measures, shared warning systems, and new norms for emerging domains, like space and cyber. But with distrust deepening, domestic politics polarized, and strategic competition intensifying, simply slowing the race may be the best outcome we can realistically hope for. What's clear is that the weapons being developed today, hypersonics, advanced nuclear systems, anti-satellite arms, AI-enabled targeting, are unlike anything the world has seen before. And as long as China, Russia, and the United States keep pushing, the arms race will continue to shape global security and global anxiety. If this video shifted how you think about global power, smash that like button, subscribe for more deep breakdowns, and hit the notification bell. Comment below. Do you think a new arms control treaty could still be forged? Or is the world already past that point? Stay informed, stay aware, and I'll see you in the next deep dive where we unpack the hidden forces shaping tomorrow's world.